Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Vedant Agarwal. Our lead story, well, the Election Commission has ordered repolling at 11 polling stations in Inner Manipur. Remember, there were sporadic incidents of violence in Manipur during phase 1 of the voting, and this repolling will now take place on the 22nd of April. My colleague Ratnadeep Chaudhary is now joining us live. So, Ratnadeep, the Election Commission ordering repolling in 11 polling stations. These were the stations that witnessed violence. In fact, Inner Manipur has been, the center of violence in Manipur over the months.
That's right. In fact, the Election Commission has now issued a fresh order where it has cancelled the polling which has taken place on 19th of April in the first phase for 11 polling stations which are spread across 5 assembly segments of Inner Manipur Lok Sabha seat where polling took place on the 19th. In fact, there were visuals that we had also played out where we have visuals of EVMs being vandalized. There were also one visual which went viral of firing by unidentified armed men near a polling station. So therefore, there were a lot of allegations. In fact, the chief electoral officer of Manipur, who exclusively spoke to NDTV this afternoon, clearly said that 3 candidates of Inner Manipur seat have given separate complaints, acting on which the returning officers were asked to send in reports, and once the reports reached the state headquarters, it was sent to the EC, and EC this evening in an urgent meeting had decided that in 11 polling stations there will be repolling, and this repolling will take place, what we are picking up from EC sources, under a 3-layer security cover of Central Forces. Remember, 160 companies of Central Forces are there in Manipur only to monitor and ensure free and fair and violence-free elections. However, sporadic incidents did take place yesterday in the first phase of elections. In fact, Congress has alleged that there were at least over 30 polling stations where there were violations, there were booth capturing, alleged booth capturing, proxy voting by armed people. That's what Congress allegation is. In fact, there was a video which went viral of the Congress candidate of Inner Manipur arguing with senior police officials outside a polling booth where allegedly his polling agent was threatened and sent out. So therefore, these were the allegations which were there, and now it seems that the Election Commission has taken cognizance of it, and there were visuals also doing around in social media of how in front of security personnel's polling materials were vandalized, and all this incidents which were reported, and some of the incidents has been taken into account, suo motu account by the Election Commission. That's what we are picking up, and reports were asked from the returning officer, and after the reports were sent, Election Commission has decided that in 11 polling station on April 22nd there will be fresh polling again.
Yes. Ratnadeep, thanks very much for joining us with that comprehensive update there. So, repolling in 11 stations in Inner Manipur. In other news now, well, Karnataka is going to be the most important state going to the polls in the second phase, and top leaders of Karnataka now have poll code violation cases against them. In fact, in just a matter of 24 hours, 3 top leaders have cases registered against them. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar has been accused of bribery and also influencing voters. Also, BJP Chief B.Y. Vijendra has been, a case has been registered against him as well for alleged poll code violation. In fact, JDS Patriarch H.D. Kumaraswamy also has a case registered against him for allegedly making a false statement on the campaign trail.
This actually points to the Election Commission, the message that was being sent out earlier before the Lok Sabha election did really take place. Talking about how hate speeches as well as other kind of statements, as well as how this will be a free and fair election and every model code of conduct or poll violation would be taken serious. And acting on that, all 3 leaders from the respective parties have been charged by the Election Commission, and an FIR has also been lodged. Talking about first the Congress, D.K. Shivkumar, who this comes as a trouble for him, mainly because of one of the statements that was made by him in support of his brother D.K. Suresh, talking about how he would threaten to cut water connection as well as electricity if people do not vote for the respective candidate. And the second is H.D. Kumarasamy, where a statement made by him talking about the Congress guarantees and how that would lead women to go astray. That has also been capped down by the Election Commission. And the third is Vijayendra of the BJP, who's been charged or accused of making a derogatory post against the Congress. Now, these definitely come to point out the kind of free and fair elections that the Election Commission has been talking about. And as Karnataka gets into the election mode ahead of the second phase of the Lok Sabha election, this definitely kind of sets the stage for a free and fair election. We'll have to wait and see the kind of reactions that we would pick up from the different political parties. But in the meantime, yes, the stage is set and the blame game has already begun.
And staying with news from Karnataka, the Prime Minister's campaign tour in the state. In fact, he was in Bengaluru. He launched an all-out attack at the Congress government, saying that the Congress in the state has turned the tech city into a tanker city. The Prime Minister taking a jibe at the water crisis that Bengaluru has been reeling under in the past couple of months. He said that Bengaluru is Modi's family. Take a look.
NDA और इंडी अलायंस दोनों का प्रचार अभियान देख रहे हैं। कांग्रेस और इंडी अलायंस का इश्यू मोदी है, मोदी का परिवार है, मोदी पर लगाए जा रहे झूठे आरोप हैं। लेकिन मोदी का फोकस किस पर है? मोदी का फोकस 21st सेंचुरी के भारत का विकास है, भारत के नागरिकों की सुविधा और समृद्धि है, भारत की ग्लोबल इमेज है। आप ही मोदी का परिवार है। मेरा भारत मेरा परिवार है। कांग्रेस ने टेक सिटी को टैंकर सिटी में बदलकर उसे वाटर माफिया के हवाले कर दिया।
And moving now to our special hot seat series, a constituency in focus. Well, Bengaluru North, it's going to be a high-stakes battle between Shobha Karandlaje and Rajiv Gowda. Remember, the poll issue, a crucial poll issue in Bengaluru is the water crisis. In fact, there was a poll boycott call in Bengaluru as well. What are the defining issues there in the tech city? Pratibha Raman reports.
Moving Union Minister and two-time MP Shobha Karandlaje from her Udupi Chikmagaluru seat to BJP's bastion of Bengaluru North was a decision that caused heartburn in sections of the party's local unit. She is not local to this constituency, and the incumbent Sadananda Gowda was denied a ticket, leading to murmurs of dissent. But the BJP effected the change both because this is a party bastion and its ally the JDS has a strong presence here.
Bengaluru North, like other constituencies in the city, has been a BJP bastion and the party hasn't lost the seat since 2004. This time, the BJP's decision to shift Shobha Karandlaje from Udupi Chikmagaluru was primarily taken to negate faction troubles there. This time, despite murmurs of dissent, both the BJP as well as Shobha Karandlaje are confident of pulling off another victory.
कार्यकर्ता लोग उत्सुक हैं, कार्यकर्ता लोग अभी कल से घर-घर जाने का काम करेंगे। मोदी जी देश के लिए क्या किया है, विकास का प्रोग्राम वो करने के लिए, वो बताने के लिए जाएंगे। सब मिलके काम कर रहे हैं और एमएलए नेता लोग मिलके काम कर रहे हैं।
Seen as the woman face of the party in the state, she was once a close confidant of B.S. Yediyurappa and was the campaign committee chairman during the Vidhan Sabha polls. An important link between the party state and central unit, making this a prestige battle for the BJP. The man who is challenging Shobha here is the suave, erudite, professor at IIM and former Rajya Sabha MP Rajiv Gowda.
Thank you.
He is the son of the former Karnataka Speaker N.V. Venkatappa and has closely seen the working of the party high command and the state leadership. Rajiv Gowda's urban appeal and the fact that he belongs to the dominant Vocaliga caste, the Congress hopes will bolster its campaign on the state government's guarantees here and help wrest a seat that's eluded it for 2 decades.
The veterans at rejecting people's needs and demands. Congress party has really lived up to its promises. In 10 months, we've implemented all the guarantees that we offered. I don't know what Modi guarantees are, because they're not believable.
From traffic congestion in areas like Hebbal, lack of foot-over bridge at KR Puram, to water shortage in Betrayampura. Bengaluru North citizens are looking for development.
For this constituency, Rajiv Gowda is educated, he is a professor from IIM, so he is better candidate than Shobha. Shobha was previously contested from Chikmagalur. There are a lot of opposition, that is why she shifted from Chikmagalur to Bengaluru North.
Not Karnataka state government, only based on Narendra Modi work and discipline. Especially in Karnataka, Congress government give everything free. Where it is come from, there is a big issue. So India growth completely lost.
Fielding Rajiv Gowda was seen as an interesting choice of the Congress, and it's a big test for the academic politician who will be contesting a Lok Sabha election for the very first time. For the Congress, it's a battle to breach into Bengaluru, which is seen as a firm BJP territory, and for the BJP, it is a battle to reiterate its dominance over the seat. With camera persons Kumar and Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru North for NDTV.
So all eyes on Bengaluru. With that, we'll take a short break now. News continues on the other side. Welcome back. The Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP is set to release its manifesto on Monday. The focus will be on nationalism. So interesting there, after Ajit Pawar switch over to the BJP side. In fact, he is in government, he's the Deputy Chief Minister, and his faction will focus on nationalists for nation. That is really the theme of the NCP manifesto. So all eyes on Maharashtra. After much back and forth and marathon meetings over seat sharing in the Mahayuti, the NCP is set to release its manifesto. And now some tragic news from Uttar Pradesh. Just a day after polling, the BJP's candidate from Moradabad, Kumar Sarvesh, passed away, and he was undergoing treatment in New Delhi, and he's passed away. That's the latest that we're getting, and this comes just a day after polling happened in various constituencies of Western UP. News now from the northeast, and starting with Nagaland. Well, at least 6 districts of the northeastern state recorded 0% polling, 0% voter turnout. This after a boycott call by the ENPO, or the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization. Well, it has been a long-standing dispute between the centre and this organization in the backward area of Nagaland. My colleague Ratndeep Chaudhary reports.
Waiting all day for the voters that never showed up. Polling personnel in 738 polling stations in 6 Eastern Nagaland districts waited for 9 hours on Friday, but not one of the over 4 lakhs voters in this region, including the 20 elected MLAs, turned up to vote.
So this is the first time I am experiencing. So far no vote has been casted, and with the polling team we are all feeling a new experience today.
While about 56% of Nagaland's 13.25 lakh voters have voted for the lone Lok Sabha seat, 1/3 of Nagaland, that is the eastern region, decided to abstain after a shutdown and abstention call by the Eastern Nagaland People Organization, or the ENPO, that had spearheaded a movement for the frontier Nagaland territory, which would give the region more administrative and financial autonomy. Voters in Eastern Nagaland are very clear on their reason for staying away from the booths.
काल हम लोग वोट नहीं रहता है किले कोले EMPO के सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ब्रा हमारा डिमांड निरिया ब्रा वोट निरिया से.
So today we had a peaceful.
The Election Commission says it had made all efforts to conduct polling in the 6 districts covering 20 of Nagaland's 60 assembly segments, but has no explanation for why voter turnout was still zero compared to the 87.5% in these districts in 2019.
Day we had fairly uniform polling all through the day. At the close of the poll, which is at 4 p.m., the rough numbers for the entire state is 56%.
The Nagaland Chief Electoral Officer has sent a show cause notice to the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, or ENPO, warning of action under the Indian Penal Code for the shutdown and abstain from voting call. Meanwhile, the Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio, after casting his vote, said that the state government has proposed the constitution of an autonomous body for the development of the Eastern Nagaland and people residing in the area.
Well, it is the civil societies. What they think, what they do is their own mind. But government of Nagaland is having thorough discussion that there should be a peaceful polling all over the state, including ENPO. And so far I got information that everything is going peacefully. Whether voting is, wherever voting is going on, and wherever it is not going on, are peaceful. Their activities, whatever they are doing, they know best. But as Government of India and also as the state, we will also take appropriate action.
Last year, during the Nagaland Assembly polls, similar boycott calls were made in Eastern Nagaland. The crisis was resolved then with the intervention of the Union Home Minister. There were a series of conversations between Amit Shah's office and representatives of the ENPO, but the demands remain unfulfilled. And with all 20 of the MLAs from this region, that represents 7 backward tribes in these 6 Eastern Nagaland districts, staying away from voting, their stand has perhaps now only hardened. In Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
And news now from the national capital. The confrontation between Tihar jail authorities and the Aam Aadmi Party continues. In fact, the Tihar jail has released a report countering the claims of the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that the Chief Minister does not need insulin for his diabetes. In fact, he only needs oral medicines, oral anti-diabetes medicines. The Aam Aadmi Party says that, well, this is nothing but a political conspiracy. In fact, senior Aam Aadmi Party Minister Atishi has gone on to say that this is attempt to murder inside jail. My colleague Ishika Verma with the latest.
So now we have in fact accessed the Tihar jail's report on in fact Arvind Kejriwal's sugar level that has been submitted to the LG Secretariat, and the report reveals in fact that Arvind Kejriwal, even during the time of his arrest, he was not taking insulin. In fact, he was only taking oral anti-diabetic tablets. In fact, what it also goes on to say, in fact, that at no point of time was there any shortage of insulin at the Tihar jail. In fact, what they also say that as per the MLC report of the RML hospital, it was nowhere indicated that there is any requirement of insulin for Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, on 10th of April and 15th of April, Arvind Kejriwal was also in fact examined by medical specialists, and in fact, they had said also that there was no in fact requirement for insulin. Now, the Tihar jail had also in fact written to the AIIMS hospital, after which the AIIMS hospital had in fact given a strict diet to Kejriwal regarding the consumption of mangoes, bananas and aloo puri. Now it had clearly restricted Arvind Kejriwal from taking those and said that he can only take, consume 20 milliliter of oil per day. Now the Tihar jail says that in no way was any time, there was a shortage of insulin for Arvind Kejriwal in Tihar jail. In fact, he can be given that as and when he's requirement, as and when there is requirement for that. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has in fact responded to this. In fact, Aam Aadmi Party senior leader Atashi in fact goes on to say that this is certainly a conspiracy by the Tihar jail authorities, and all of this is being done on the behest of BJP, that is not providing insulin to Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. So certainly the war of words also has now erupted over this.
So that big political showdown in the national capital. We'll take a short break now. News continues on the other side.